one thing I want you to always keep in mind is that fitness, health, nutrition is a process of trial and error. So find what works for you, try things. It's okay if things don't work out, but make sure you're getting the right information.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Welcome to episode 2 of the Helix Healthcast. I'm your host, Zach Morgan. Thank you for joining me. I am really excited to get into it. That first episode was a little bit about me, some background. This is the one where we're really going to start getting into the fitness, the nutrition, the health advice, and getting into what this podcast is about. I thought a good topic to start with would be busting some common fitness myths. There are a lot out there. There's a whole lot of bro science. There's a lot of false information out there, and I thought it'd help clear some up. This could be a 10-part series, honestly, and we'll probably do more episodes of this, but I thought I'd narrow it down to a few that I tend to hear a lot, help clear some things up, and make sure you have the right information so that you can make the best decisions with that. The first myth that we're going to get into is spot reduction. What that means is doing targeted exercises to burn fat in a specific area. So you've probably heard a lot of people talk about doing sit-ups to reduce belly fat, or, doing curls to reduce arm fat, or whatever it is. And that's really just not how things work. There was a study in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning back in 2007 where they had participants perform ab exercises, and they really didn't experience a significant reduction in belly fat or abdominal fat, but they did experience overall body fat decreases because it meant they were being more active. And that's really how things work. If we want to burn fat, we need to be in a calorie deficit, which means we need to be burning more calories than we're taking in. The best way to do that is through a combination of nutrition and exercise. Exercise is going to help you burn more. Nutrition can control how much you're taking in. And so that's going to be the best way to reduce body fat overall. But we really can't target where it's stored or where we lose it from. There's a whole bunch of factors that go into that. The biggest ones being genetics and hormone levels. Genetically, we're all a little bit different. People might store fat in different areas, and we all have to just make the best with the genetics we're given. Can't really change that, but we can control what we do about it. The other thing that's going to really influence where body fat is stored and where we lose it from is hormone levels. So hormones like cortisol, testosterone, estrogen, those can affect where we store fat. But if your goal is to lose fat, I wouldn't suggest messing around with hormone levels unless you're doing it with a doctor, consulting professionals, because messing around with that can create a whole bunch of other issues that we don't want to have. So let's focus on fitness, nutrition, and how we can reduce overall body fat if that is your goal. Another thing that can influence where we store fat is just certain areas might have a higher density of fat cells. And so they're going to be more likely to hold on to fat. And that also means that they're probably going to be the last place that we lose fat if we are getting leaner and we are in that calorie deficit. So the myth of spot reduction just isn't true, but you can definitely change your body composition through diet and exercise. What I will say, though, especially because strength training is my specialty and I love it, so I'm a little bit biased here, but incorporating strength training, gaining muscle, having more toned muscle in a certain area will definitely make it look leaner. So, even if you're not necessarily reducing a ton of belly fat, if we can get your abs stronger, if we can get your biceps bigger and stronger, then they're going to look better. If we get them denser, they're going to look a little bit more toned. And so if your only goal is aesthetics and looking leaner, then adding some muscle to a certain area will help it look leaner. So that's one of the most common fitness myths that I hear about is spot reduction. Another one I hear a lot about is that lifting weights will make you bulky. This is especially prevalent with women that come into the gym, especially me running a strength training gym. I hear this one a lot. And lifting weights does not make you bulky. It's definitely not some magic pill that's all of a sudden going to make you look like the Hulk. That just doesn't happen, even for people who want it to happen. And so if you're worried about getting too bulky, I don't mean this to sound condescending, but it's probably not going to happen, and it's definitely not going to happen fast. It takes a lot of intentional work to bulk. First off, you need to be eating in a calorie surplus. Can't get bigger if you don't take in enough calories. And you also need to be lifting weights with the intention of bulking. You need to be doing it consistently at a high enough intensity for a long time. I have been trying to bulk and get bigger and look stronger for years now, for over 10 years, and it's been a very slow process. So if I am really trying to bulk and eating to bulk, eating in a calorie surplus, lifting weights all the time, and it's taken me 10 years to like get big, then I promise it's not going to happen overnight. It takes real intention to get bigger and to bulk like that. So don't worry too much about that. And like I said, it's also a slow process, which means if you do start to get a little more bulky than you maybe want to, it's very easy to kind of switch it up, back off, and change that. Usually lifting weights is going to give you more toned, lean muscle. You'll have that toned look, but you're not necessarily going to just like inflate and bulk up and get bigger. Genetics also does play a factor in that. Some people are going to bulk easier and faster than others. So that can influence how fast or how bulky you look, but it does not happen overnight. So lift some weights, get stronger, feel better, be fitter, and don't worry too much about that. If it does start to happen, then you can address it. Another fitness myth that we get a lot is that cardio is the best way to lose weight. Really, the best way to lose weight, as I said earlier, is to be in a calorie deficit. Burning more calories is going to help you do that. And cardio does burn calories, but that doesn't mean that it's the best or the only way to lose weight. You'll hear a lot of trainers and coaches preach that their way is the only way. It's a big red flag. Cardio is definitely not the only way to lose weight. The best way would be a combination of strength training and cardio, but strength training is a great way to lose weight. Cardio is going to burn calories during exercise. So it's a great way to burn. It will definitely help contribute to weight loss. But strength training is going to increase the metabolic demand of your body, which is going to help you burn more calories for 24, maybe even 48 hours after your workout. Now, I'm not saying don't do cardio because there's a ton of health benefits to it. Cardiovascular health is super important, and you should be doing some cardio, but you should also be strength training, and a combination of both is going to be best. When you increase your muscle mass, it affects your metabolism. Being able to just maintain muscle, being able to recover from a strength training workout requires a pretty big metabolic demand. And so you're going to be burning more calories while you recover from that strength training workout. So even though you might burn a little bit more during a cardio workout, the overall metabolic demand from a strength training workout is often the same or higher because of what you're burning in the day or two after that workout. Just having that muscle tissue is also going to burn more fat. So even if you take a day off and you don't work out, just the fact that you have more muscle, that you have denser muscle, is going to help you increase your total daily energy expenditure. It's going to help increase that base metabolic rate so that you're burning more even when you're just sitting on the couch doing nothing. So really do both. If you love cardio and you want to stick to that, that's great. You can get amazing results. If you love strength training, don't feel like that means that you're not going to be lean, because combination of both or strength training can have really great weight loss and body composition effects. Let's get into the next myth. No pain, no gain is something you hear a lot of, and it's not necessarily true. I'm not saying that workouts should be easy, but pain is not a sign of a successful workout. Pushing through pain is not necessary to get results or to be fitter. And that doesn't mean you should be sore from every workout. That's not the case. In movies, we often see these like really strenuous, painful, intense workout, these training montages that get people in amazing shape. We've all seen and loved the Rocky montage, but that's not what your training should be like most of the time. It's totally great to have some workouts like that, to have super intense workouts. But if you do that all the time, then you really run the risk of overtraining. You want to find a volume intensity that you can recover from, that you can sustain, and that you can be consistent with. So you don't need to be in pain. You don't need to be pushing 100% going all out every single workout because you really can't keep that up. When I did a triathlon or when I'm training for a weightlifting meet, a big part of that is managing volume. There's a reason that when I was training for triathlon, I didn't just go do a full triathlon every week or really at all until my triathlon. It's because that might be what I'm training for, but I can't sustain that. It takes a while to recover from that, and we need consistency. Same thing when I'm training for a weightlifting meet. I'm not maxing out all the time. I'm really not maxing out at all until the day of competition because it takes so much out of you that if you have that workout where you go 110%, then you're probably going to need to take the next week off, or you're just not going to get very good workouts for the next week. And we want to be consistent. So pain is not necessary to gain. Yes, soreness will happen, especially if you start training and you haven't been working out, or if you switch up what type of training you're doing. You're probably going to be sore. You're going to feel it because you're switching up the stimulus. You're giving your body a new stressor that it's not used to. But you don't need to be sore from every workout, and you really shouldn't be sore from every workout. If you are, it means you're probably overtraining. You're not giving your body adequate time or attention in the recovery phase. Maybe you need to be sleeping more. Maybe you need to work on your nutrition. But if you can't recover from a workout, if you're constantly in so much pain, then eventually you're going to hit a wall. You're going to burn out. That's not going to be great for long-term, sustainable, consistent results. So find that level where you are able to sustain that intensity, to sustain that effort, and find that balance. It doesn't mean workout should be easy, and sometimes you will be dealing with some pain. Some workouts are going to hurt. It's totally normal and necessary sometimes to push through discomfort, but there's a difference between discomfort and pain. So the myth of no pain, no gain is not true. And anyone who thinks it is probably going to hurt themselves if they keep that up. Let's get into one more myth that I want to cover, and that is that muscle turns into fat when you stop exercising. Those are two totally different types of tissues, and muscle cannot and will not turn into fat. Now, if you do stop working out, you're probably going to lose some muscle, especially if you've been able to put on a decent amount of it, because muscle will atrophy if it's not being used. The saying, if you don't use it, you lose it, is definitely true with muscle, but that doesn't mean you have to gain fat if you do stop working out. A lot of people, I myself, have dealt with some injuries that forced me to kind of stop exercising or not be able to exercise like I was used to. But I was still able to maintain some leanness, even though I lost some muscle, through proper nutrition and finding some ways to be active. So if anyone tells you muscle turns into fat, if you stop working out, that's what's going to happen, it's not necessarily true. You will need to adjust your nutrition to make up for the difference in energy expenditure, but that doesn't mean you have to gain fat if you have some time off of the gym. Those are the myths that I have selected for today. Like I said, we might do this again. If there are any that you have questions about, let me know. But I just want to make sure that you're getting accurate, reliable information, because if you don't have the right information, you can't make the right decisions. And fitness is all about finding what works for you. So even within that, one thing I want you to always keep in mind is that fitness, health, nutrition is a process of trial and error. So find what works for you, try things. It's okay if things don't work out, but make sure you're getting the right information. Definitely fact check people, and hopefully you can spread this information and help debunk some of these myths to people who might still believe them. Thank you so much for listening. I would really appreciate it if you would follow, like this episode, share it with your friends. We're just getting this podcast off the ground, so your support means so much to me. I really do appreciate it. I know this is the part then of a podcast where I'm supposed to plug some things. So like I said, if you can just subscribe, follow, like, maybe leave us a good rating, we would really appreciate it. And if there's anything you want to hear, you can email us at podcast@helixgyms.com with your questions, your ideas, your feedback, because we'd love to hear it. Thank you again for listening, and I will see you all on the next episode.